Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Okay, for those of you on the video side, well, I didn't take a break, did I? So the audio will be rejoining us momentarily. So the Driz says, does General Manager Kyle Dubas at some point start to put increased value on acquiring players, younger players, too many draft picks? I see 8, 9 guys either injured or in the minors ready to take advantage of any openings via trade. Perfect question, Driz, to lead me into talking about what defines a successful Penguins season. Now, this is what I wrote about 1,000 words. I don't know why I write so many words. I wish I could. Let me see if I can pull up the Dubas Crosby sort of photo that I made. This was some time ago. So I'm going to show you the homepage of Pittsburgh Hockey Now, and then sort of click on the story. See, over here, over there on the right. I think we're coming to that fork in the road of what the Penguins are going to do this season. And also, that's going to define how they define the parameters of a successful season. Well, that was a heck of a screenshot of me, wasn't it? So here's how this sort of breaks down. We'll call the first one the Kyle Dubas scenario, in which the season is defined by what Dubas does. And that means trading away some of the top-end players. Now, that doesn't necessarily define the season, but what he gets in return and the draft pick that they get. That creates the Dubas season scenario, and that's how we'll judge it, based on what he gets back and who they draft. So we won't know success until the end. That's the fork on the left. The fork on the right, this gets interesting. This also gets very dangerous. If you keep the band together, if you keep Raquel, Rust, Carlson, heck, maybe Jari, you keep all these guys together because they're winning or they're in the playoff hunt. The Penguins need to make the playoffs. At that point, that's what becomes a successful season. So it's either get good young players in return for your veterans and get a good player in the 2026, the very talent-rich 2026 draft, or make the playoffs. Those are your two options. Anything in the middle of either of those is a failure, is a mushy, middle, wimpy sort of failure. The worst thing they could do is come away with like the 14th overall draft pick and have their veterans at the end of the season. That's the worst thing that could happen for them. Because then you start looking at like a 33 turning 34-year-old Brian Rust. And then you start judging Rickard Rakell on what he has done this season. You start, you're going to lose Evgeny Malkin. Erik Karlsson will have 1 year left on his deal. And worse, everybody will know that team is incapable of making the playoffs. So you just be sort of stuck there. And you'll lose some of the guys that they've signed to these 1 year contracts. Blake Lizotte and, Nola Chari. I think Connor Dewar would also be a free agent next summer. And it becomes really difficult. Now you have to rebuild a big chunk of your roster. And you have nothing to show for it. Seriously. So looking at that question, does anyone confuse me with the other DK? Come on, man. Why does Pittsburgh have 2 DKs? Well, because my parents named me Daniel 49 years ago. I didn't really get a say in the matter. Well, I kind of like my name. Oh, Ozzy said I don't confuse Dan. Listen, I get triggered over criticism. Sometimes I just make fun of you instead of getting angry. Joseph, so are we cool on the 2 Penguins paths though? Those are really the 2 options. You have to have success in one of those, and that means kind of going closer to the extremes. I suppose a top 10 pick would be okay, but you can't be picking 12th, 13th, 14th. And if you keep the band, you better make the playoffs. Now, if the Penguins make the playoffs, I suppose that would be the absolute and total end to the Sidney Crosby trade talk, would it not? Dubas could say, hey, look, we got you to the playoffs this year. Now we need to make some really hard decisions this summer. We need to say goodbye to all of these sorts of players. Now can you help us go through the rebuild? That might be enough. It might be, especially if the Penguins win a series or 2. Actually, no, I guess if they win a series or 2, then it'll be like, hey, we have to keep these guys and make a run. I'm just telling you how the players think. They don't think like you. Anyway, do I think with Flower being there for a little bit of the preseason gives the expectation of having fun of being a team? Oh, I don't know. I don't know that Marc-Andre Fleury had much of an effect on the young guys. He was there for the organization. He was there for the older guys. He was there for a few days, I suppose. But what I've seen, Joseph, in the locker room, the guys who were there having some fun are the same guys who were in Wilkes-Barre last year having some fun in the same sort of way. The one guy wanders over because he couldn't play in the AHL playoffs, due to an injury. Comes wandering over, peeking over my shoulder to see what I was shopping for in the pregame. Hey, I was looking at houses back then. He's like, oh, where are you going to live? In case I have to egg your house. Just, these are the guys. They're fun. So, Fleury didn't hurt, but I don't think I would credit Fleury for these other guys having fun. Is Ryan Graves destined to get bought out? Well, that's kind of a left field question I haven't considered in a while, but yes. Now, here is how it sort of works out. If the Penguins buy him out, the 3-year penalty is peanuts. It's like $555,000 for 3 years after his contract. They don't get a great deal of savings, real world savings. They would save like $1.5 million, $2 million for 3 years if they bought him out. But they would also save that by keeping him in the AHL. They would save the 1.15 or 1.25 next year. Where the Penguins would benefit is on the books, because you only have to pay him 2/3. So they would save about $5 million in accounting, actual cash, not, wouldn't affect the salary cap, but actual cash, they'd save about, I think it was it was about $5 million. So yes, I do think Ryan Graves will indeed be bought out next summer. Like, you have to do it in June. Let's go to Pogan. Hear me out. Uh-oh. When someone says hear me out, they got a doozy coming. What if they kept Kindle and wanted to fill that third slot on the line? Let's say Novak, Kindle, and McGroarty. Yeah. That's well within the realm of possibility. There are so many options to choose from, like Hollander, Koivunen, et cetera. Yeah, listen, I think Novak, Kindle, McGroarty is quite possible. I definitely think that Kindle is sticking around. To send him back, that just not happening. See some comments here. I see Tristan Brose coming up before McGroarty. No, Brose is a center. So until they have a need for a center, Tristan Brose isn't going to come up. Let's see here. From Gable Fisk, my guy in Vegas here. Are we concerned yet that McGroarty might be always hurt guy? Oh, I don't know. This is sort of new territory for him. I don't know what the injury is. He looks fine. He's walking around the place, workout gear. I don't know the injury, and the Penguins have been very 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 nebulous and vague. Well, it's an upper body, so somewhere between the belt and the top of the head, he suffered an injury over the summer, and they've been very precautious. I don't know. So if he gets hurt for a third time next year, then we start to wonder. But I tend to think that this is part of them helping Rutger McGroarty remake Rutger McGroarty. And Owen Pickering went through the same thing. Owen Pickering went through a couple of years of a lot of injuries because he was still growing and working out hard and trying to transition from the gangly kid in juniors to a mature professional player. So, no, not yet. Big Joe, do you think the Pens will get bullied in games? I guess we will see Thursday. That's the Panthers. Other than the second line, we still look so small. We haven't had an overly physical game yet. I suppose there's some truth to that. LA is not a soft team. Look, LA is far from a soft team. And the Penguins, the Penguins got some help from LA's goaltender, but the Penguins weren't outmatched in that game. Yeah, it will be interesting. I don't think the Penguins' fourth line, despite their lack of height, lacks toughness. That's for sure. Dewar, Achari, and Lizotte. I mean, they're the Tasmanian devil. I mean, it's a tornado. And they're good on the wall against bigger players. They're hockey strong. I think that's the kind of game Thursday where Ben Kindle might struggle a little bit.
Are high-interest credit cards or personal loans weighing you down? Unlock gives homeowners a smarter option. With a home equity agreement, you can tap into your home's equity for cash today. There are no monthly payments. Here's how it works. Unlock provides funds upfront and in exchange shares in a portion of your home's future value. That means you keep control with the flexibility to use your equity your way. Pay off bills, invest in home improvements, or set aside savings for peace of mind. For thousands of homeowners, Unlock has been the key to moving forward without the pressure of another payment. Put your equity to work for you. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.
Even though the Florida Panthers are so banged up, so very banged up. Let's go to, let's see here. I want to try to get some new folks in here. I know you guys are having a conversation. I can see Ozzy and Invicta and who else, and the Driz all kind of having their own good old time here on my chat board. So Kay Wright says, any news on McGroarty's return? Do you have honey mustard? Let's go to Hips Now 1105. By the way, those of you who are new, casual guys, kind of checking in. Do you have honey mustard means if I knew, I'd report it already. I'm not waiting for a question on Twitter or a live chat to break news. When I know, I'll report it. But the nice way of saying that is, do you have honey mustard? Okay. My voice is similar to the other D. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay, let's go to Brian, 2015. Let's give the fourth line some credit. Been pretty good so far. It's been fantastic. Brandon Rickner, I haven't seen a lot of discourse around this, but what are your thoughts on Piananemi leaving for Europe? Seemed like a lock for the AHL roster, but was being relegated to the ECHL. Unfortunate. How many of you all were all jumping up ugly on me when I told you that Emil Piananemi wasn't ready for prime time? And I said, I haven't seen much from him in the rookie camps, in training camps, in preseason games and scrimmages. I just had not seen much from him at all. The comparison I made, which really infuriated the Piananemi is great crowd, was to Isaac Beliveau, a guy who should have been in the AHL, but due to numbers and kind of the status of his career not being better than the guys in the AHL, was relegated to Wheeling himself. He was traded. I forget where he's at. Saw him at the Prospects Challenge. Is he Boston or Buffalo? Buffalo. Yeah, he's I think he's with Rochester this year. Or maybe he's in the ECHL. I didn't follow up to look. But my thoughts are the Penguins put him where he belonged. He didn't like it. He left. Okay. That's literally what my thoughts are on it. I'm not going to waste another minute on it. Pagan Lozada showing himself as a hard worker last few games. Any chance they rinse out that fourth line for a better value in terms of pick? Now, if you trade a guy like Blake Lizotte, even Noel Acciari, there was a time a handful of years ago that Acciari was a good, was worth a second round pick, even actually a late first round pick. Kyle Dubas with the Toronto Maple Leafs giving that up in a deal. Who was the defenseman that went? Colorado traded Acciari and which defenseman? Wasn't Bo Byram, was it? To Toronto for a first round pick? Was it Connor Timmins? Listen, I don't know what I did yesterday. You're asking me to remember 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, no, you're not. If you trade the fourth line guys, you're getting mid-round picks. Those guys have more value to the Penguins. I suppose if they're out of the playoff race, then you sort of clean sweep it. But that, you don't do that until the actual trade deadline day. Okay. Brett Favreify. Hockey pundits spend way too much time thinking about next year's team rather than staying in the moment. Is this Mike Sullivan's burner account? You, Mike Sullivan? Let's go to Locke. What will the Penguins do if they have an embarrassment of riches for prospects? We're excited for Kindle, but Bros, Zonin, Horkoff, what will they do? They'll play them happily. That's what they will do. Hockey guy, moving Kindle to the wing would be a mistake from the amateur scouts that I got keyed in on. Kindle mentioned he plays center like a midfielder, roaming for the puck, kind of like Gino. He thrives in space. There is very little comparison between Ben Kindle's game and Evgeny Malkin's game. No comparison whatsoever. Malkin is so instinctual and, it used to be aggressive, powerful, and just extremely talented. Now, I'm not saying Ben Kindle isn't talented, but I am saying he's not overly aggressive. He's not powerful. He doesn't quite have, listen, no one has Malkin's hands. Malkin in his prime could literally stick handle through 3 defensemen. It's not a shame to not be able to do that. It helps being 6'3" and having the reach to get around people. No, Kindle is not a roaming center. No. Ben Kindle is a step ahead of the play. Ben Kindle is the guy who goes to where the puck is going to be, not where the puck is. Ben Kindle is the guy who pulls up on the mid-wall, gets the puck in the high slot at the point, even down low, and he knows how the play is going to unfold. And from there, he inserts himself to maximum advantage. Whether it's dishing the puck, whether it's taking a shot, whether it's keeping it for a few extra moments to let the play unfold further to the open man. Kindle is a cerebral player. So to call him a sort of a roamer, no, that I would not go there. That's for sure. Let's go to more hockey cards, please. Well, I guess I already gave my thoughts on Piananemi. Joseph, with Dubas' latest update, McGroarty was sent. When did Dubas update McGroarty? Did he do that stupid GM show and I'm doing this? Is that what's happening? Do I have to go write a news story quick? I hate when they do that. I don't know the show is coming. Okay, so I have to find that. So I was preparing this show. Let's go to Josh Shaw. Do I think the Penguins make the playoffs? Or do I think if the Penguins make the playoffs, we could see Malkin back for one more year? We will know almost everything there is to know in February. Okay? They met before the season. They're going to keep the lines of communication open through the first half of the season. They're going to sit down during the Olympic break and have a real conversation. That's where it goes. Okay, so if Malkin is a point per game guy in February, then it's very possible. All right, I'm going to take. Let me go to the bottom here. Okay, the Driz is saying, on the X show, that's what Dubas said. Okay, so I will have to wrap up the chat and jump and do the Rutger McGroarty news. That was recorded like earlier today. They could give us a heads up. They could help me out a little bit. Let's see. I guess that's Honey Mustard Questions, a foundational piece of the PHN universe. And that is where we will end it, my friends. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. The more you do that, the more interaction YouTube sees, the more they feature us, the more I make. And I appreciate all of you so very much. I've got a 6 a.m. flight to Florida. I'm doing the very dangerous day of travel. And I'm flying a big yellow jet. In fact, I might be flying it. with that airline, it's first come, first served. So wish me safe travels. I will be praying for my 24th row seat because all of the big comfy seats up front were bought and I could not get a comfortable seat. So I figured, what the heck, what's the difference between paying $50 to sit in the 12th row beside two goofballs who probably want a man spread and put their elbows out versus being in the 24th row and having the very same thing happen. So I will be in Florida to cover the game Thursday, flying back Friday afternoon, actually. And that is all she wrote for the Odyssey Podcast Network. Pittsburgh Hockey Now on the YouTube and everywhere else. Thanks. Have fun.
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.